The day is the Florida Mayhem versus the Houston Outlaws. And I know Houston has been looking good this meta, but Florida just barely clinched that spot with a nice, still dueling out in that front line. Very low as Checkmate's trying to be in distraction, but both tanks fall. But one man ahead for Houston as RuPaul down for Florida. Not a lot of healing unless there's some kind of big opening trade from Hydron. Lastro has the rally, he might need to pop it. Yeah, Dante's half HP and Houston needed that rally a bit earlier. Lastro will keep himself alive at least, but for how long? Against Checkmate's Blade, who receives the barrier from Majet at the last second, just to ensure value out of this. And Florida even invests the rally, but the same support ultimates used from Houston Outlaws. And as the dice fall, it's Houston that still have the point, as Florida are cleaning things up, shoving Pelican back in the locker where they found together, but they will also fall together if they're not careful. Checkmate with the blade. Still no support ultimates for Florida. They're still so close to it. Can they live long enough? And it's just not gonna happen. The first round goes to the Houston Outlaws.
Oh, that was all about Pelican being up in that window, gathering the information. It made sure that Florida didn't go. Merit does pick it occasionally, but like I've said, Merit is so precise. Oh, Checkmate went too far.
What's happening, brother? My brother in Christ.
On land, bro?
On land? I don't know if there was a disruptor shot that slowed him down, but he just couldn't get out. He was trying to duel Lastro, and that first pick from Houston is all she wrote with that first fight for Houston. Moved forward, and Houston just chasing after the stragglers of Florida that seem to isolate themselves. Now their goal is to play on an off angle, to go for these backline assassinations, but they're getting divided, and they're getting conquered by the Houston Outlaws.
All right, for those of you who are over 5 years old and know your basic maths, 86% is significant.
Back to the point to stabilize, looking for a flip, and is it really gonna go their way? It's a pretty close fight, and it's 98% for the Houston Outlaws, and Lastro just killed RuPaul. Rampage, someone, and Florida getting desperate as Lastro tries to find safety, but only finds the shurikens of Checkmate. As Florida just
resources.
Oh, Checkmate Blade going right after Lastro, and the whip shot hits, and Pelican has the peel. What is the answer? Florida don't have DPS. There is nothing more to say. Pelican is dominating the emergency doofus. They doing nothing. And the Houston Outlaws shut the door on map number 1.
This is what we've come to expect from the elite DPS of the Houston Outlaws.
This meta, here's the drop from Dante, already down to half health, gets pulled in by someone, as Florida forced to use the shout, so does Houston. A first anti-nade from RuPaul hits Dante, not something that Florida could capitalize on, as Merit finds the last shot into Summer Showdown, and Checkmate gets punished again, as Houston take a flawless first fight.
Yeah, Samajad there dropping down was a huge L, unfortunately, on that player who's contesting. They can easily be overwhelmed.
Yeah, Houston went up the elevator, and that's not the floor they wanted. They walk into Florida's Blade, gets nanoed by RuPaul as well, and Florida looking a lot better now that they're kind of positioning well with these Junker Queens, but it's a Blade from Pelican. What's he up to? He's in the back line. He's got close to Hydron. What a sleep! RuPaul has hit another one. Pelican can't even believe his eyes. He's got the back hunch. He's gonna have to straighten things out, because Houston are heading towards point B.
Welcome to RuPaul's nap race, Lemon. However, you got to touch the car, and I'm afraid that 2 supports simply aren't going to cut it, mate. A boop up onto Sir Marjay, a second point gained, and RuPaul simply has...
Doesn't have the sound barrier yet, and RuPaul is down. The blade given to Pelican as he hopes to farm another ult. He swipes through someone. He's in the backline going after Hydron. But Checkmate, hey, where you been, buddy? Well, clearly doing a lot of work, and that saves the fight for Florida.
Pocketed by the Samajad Trance as well. Florida Mayhem decide to get
do or die, and Merit is looking for any contact with this overclock. It's not working out as someone counter-engages with the Rampage, and we're left with just 2 of Houston to keep the train rolling, and the brakes are getting pumped. Florida have respawn advantage, and the road is about to end here unless Pelican puts his hero cape on. Hydron is low. He gets a dash reset. Wait, Houston can do this, but Pelican gets knife pulled. He's antied. He's getting supported. Lastro has to hit every shot as Dante's back on the Doom Fist. The Doom tank is back. This is what you traveled for. He's nanoed, and he's knocking kids out left and right, but the Transcendence is hard to break through. How did Pelican and the rest of Houston clutch this? They complete the map.
Lastro, you can actually sustain those positions when you got Rihanna behind you. Dante's on top of Hydron!
Oh,
the flanker queen!
Flanker queen. And Dante is slept, and Florida just barely pulling through. I think it's, 3v2 for the Florida Mayhem. But without RuPaul, you just have very slow heals. So this is how you just have to take the fight very slowly. But Summer Showdown was off on another door, and Checkmate's trying to peel, but this is kind of chalked. So Houston will hold for now. This is going to be a big ult fight. I mean, a lot of people are just 80-90% as the first nano to Checkmate. Not wanting to pull out the blade yet. Pelican can't deliver, neither can Lastro. And you don't even need to use the blade if you're Checkmate. This is damage mitigation. The survivability you had was enough. And Florida don't lose a single member as if they're about to cap the point.
Oh, it's good that Houston at least die on the point here. There could have been some horrific staggered the progress forward of Checkmate.
Oh, Checkmate got the touch, right? Oh, I'm not ready for any more C9s. Pelican, though, I'm ready for his blade, and someone has used the shout. There's a lot of health to get through, and Pelican cuts him by the heels, and Florida are down, and there's really no one left to keep this going. Oh, Transcendence. Too late. And there you have it. Houston Outlaws are on match point.
Even 300% speed, Lemon, is not faster than a speeding bullet, and Houston Outlaws got the
Trace.
Oh, I like this.
We do set up
TP to
the
high ground.
TP.
Summer might kick them off.
Oh, we're committing! Oh, but I think the Summer Showdown got booped away, maybe whip shot by Lastro, because that should have been a kill for Dante. And now both teams lose a support each, as it's all chaos, and Dante just wants to hide away. He has no supports, and really not much help after that. Houston do have respawn advantage, so they're chasing away. But as Pelican went for a flank, he might have traded out with Sir Majed, but Houston moving forward. RuPaul hits Dante with the anti-nade, and Florida put a lot of damage into them, but it's Merritt that strikes through the hearts of two, and the fight just goes Houston's way off of Merritt just doing Merritt things.
Question is, the Florida Mayhem overreact?
The blade and all the anti-nade on top, but Dante's counter rampaging to stop Checkmate in his tracks. Dante's also slept on arrival as the dust settles. It's Houston only up by one, so Florida commit more ultimates. The Bob on top, but everyone from Houston just vacates the bank, so this bot from Hydron doesn't do much.
Got him to bank, but no way. He'll be able to hit almost 4 people with the rampage. Here it is.
Someone rampages and it hits 3, including the supports. Dante tries to help them, but there's no help. There's no life raft for Houston in this fight. And signs, oh, what a sleep. And signs of life after Florida finally win a fight. Dodge that axe as Dante's looking for any target. What a hook onto Hydron, and he gets the last lap, turns around and rampages. Florida fall like dominoes, and with 12 seconds remaining, the Houston Outlaws will fully cap.
And that was all down to individual.
Now that the important cooldown is gone and Dante gets the finish, and without that healing, Summer Showdown has to make a decision whether to use the barrier, and he decides against it to wait for the blade from Pelican.
I would have loved for Sir Majed to have hit that barrier.
But they're hit by Dante's rampage that hits RuPaul and someone, and Hydron's overclock has enough space. Pelican can't even believe he died to that, and he will respect it later. 33 seconds, and Florida, I mean, it's a 3 versus 1, so that's a clean fight, and Florida able to get point A.
Not sure if it was a full.
Someone's getting beat down from behind. What is happening? Houston arriving like a train, and that's a great first pick as Houston hope to reestablish themselves on the objective, and they rampage in and sets up the pins for Pelican to knock them down. RuPaul does shield bash away, but I don't think you can stop because Pelican's ready at your spawn room doors to prevent you from going back home. Few more seconds remaining, and Houston Outlaws will take the series 3-0.
Our highest seeds, number 3 in the tournament, Lemon. They did decide that Florida Mayhem would be their target of choice after a lot of players were